All right, what's going on, everybody? Ryan back here at Epic Event Center in Green Bay, and we are here for our latest, or our newest edition of Behind the Curtain. With us, as always, is our amazing host, stand-up comedian and former host of That Metal Show. Everyone, welcome back, Don Jamieson. How you doing, Don?
Ryan, it's great to be back. Let's rock this thing. Come on.
Right on. And joining us today is our very special guest. He's going to be with us today on this interview, but then he's going to be here live in Green Bay at Epic Event Center on June 19th, along with Five for Fighting. Everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for being here, Mr. Edwin McCain. How you doing, man?
Thanks for having me, man. Looking forward to it.
This is going to be such a great night of music, especially considering I think Edwin, you and John are really considered like songwriters.
Right.
So it seems on paper it's really a natural fit for you guys.
It's amazing that we haven't toured together before this. And I know that we probably played on some festivals together back in the day and on different days and different times. And but we have one degree of separation. We have like, a lot of the same friends, but literally have never met. And we've done some interviews together leading up for this tour, and so we get along famously. We're pretty the same age. We're kind of living this similar lives, parallel tracks and whatnot. He's a father, whole thing. So.
Yeah, well, you said off camera you led some very colorful times in the 90s. Did John also live those colorful times?
Yes. I said something about my raging alcoholism in the 90s, and he also leaned in on that ethic. Every single time I would go to LA, I wouldn't even go to the hotel. I'd just go straight to the Rainbow Room and then hang out with Lemmy because he was in there all the time. Like, and 15-year-old me would have crawled through that Shawshank pipe to go hang out with Lemmy. I mean, and he was cool. He never really knew my name, but he recognized me because I would buy him drinks, anything. You just sit there and play Miss Pac-Man with Lemmy. And then every time he would get up to go to the bathroom, I'd pull out my Nokia phone and then awkwardly text my friends by pressing 3 times on the buttons. You will not believe what I am doing right now. It was amazing. It was amazing. And I got to be friends with all the guys from Poison. And then, and to a lesser degree, Vince Neil. And then also Sebastian. I went out in Hollywood with Vince Neil and Sebastian Bach, and it was one of the most fun times for about an hour.
Yeah.
Sebastian's delightful. He's just like a 10-year-old kid strapped in Frankenstein's body. And then Vince just got into a fist fight within 45 minutes of us being out because he got tired of people looking at me. It started out like, "What are you looking at?" Vince said to some guy at a bar. And I was like, "Vince, he's looking at you. You're the most famous person within 10 miles of here. Everybody's looking at you. Like, have you not gotten used to this yet? Because it feels like you should have." I mean,
yeah.
I just think he likes fighting, honestly. If I'm telling the truth, I think he just likes throwing punches.
Yeah, that might have been the tequila talking, but
it's unbelievable. Like some of the stuff I've gotten to do. I spend an hour. I won't go too far into it. It's just like Ace Frehley, Gene Simmons. I had dinner with Gene Simmons. Like it's crazy. Like honestly, the big payoff to my wedding song career is I got to meet all my heroes in music, and I don't play any music that's even remotely like the music that I grew up listening to and love. My children know every syllable to Back in Black. Like they have since they were in car seats. And I took them up to Soldier Field in Chicago when they just came through recently. I was like, you have to see this because I don't think you're going to get to see this again. This is going to be it. So we
Awesome.
have to see this. Yeah, but yeah, I so much respect to you, sir, because you got to be in the thick of that, and I was just born 15 years too late, honestly.
Yeah.
I would have been in the totally in the mix with all the spandex and all the stuff. Are you kidding? I would have been in one of those knockoff bands. I would have been in a band called, Slither's Pussycat or something, I mean, never made it, just strung out, living in a dumpster off like
Yeah,
Hollywood
behind Tower
Boulevard.
Records.
Yeah,
Wow.
behind that, totally,
You'd
100%.
you'd have been taping your posters up to the
A
telephone
hun-
poles.
100%. Like I tell people all the time because I used to put flyers up all over Charleston, South Carolina, and people are like, you put flyers up. I was like, man, I spent 5 hours a day putting flyers up, just hoping to get 20 people to come to a show. And now you can get on TikTok and talk about like some embarrassing moment where you started at your grandparents' house and get 20 million views. Like that's a thing. That's a
Slightly different.
valid.
Slightly different.
I mean, it's amazing the reach that the average person has now. The trick is, can you be compelling enough to convert that into a concert ticket?
But it's so weird, for our generation. You are such a craftsman with your art, with your songwriting and your playing and everything. And I put a lot of time into what I do, crafting jokes and material, and yet I'll post something that I think super clever, and I see you're very engaging on social media, but yet me drinking a half a jar of pickle juice will get 20 times more engagement than a well-crafted joke.
And I will say this too. I finally came to the conclusion that intention almost has nothing to do with the art. It's interpretation, right? It's however the audience interprets it is what completes the circle. Because like what I meant, like so many times, like what I meant, nobody picked up on that at all. Don't care. Turned, went, got a beer. I'm like, this is gonna be the song right here. Like, and it never is. It
No.
never is. The songs. I quit. I quit trying to guess. And I did this thing that all young artists do after I had a little bit of traction at the label. I forced my will. I was like, I'm picking the next single. And I had this song called I See the Sky Again. I was sure it was going to be the one. It didn't even circle the bowl. Like it didn't do anything. Like it was so bad. And I at that point I just had to just throw up my hands and go, okay, you know what? Just tell me what to wear. Tell me what to do. It was what I apologize. I was wrong. Just tell me. And again, it kind of comes that we just end up chasing the dragon all the time, because when something does work, then you can kind of sit back and go, yeah, I meant to do that.
I told you.
Right. I mean, so yeah, and so what you're saying basically is that there's going to be some Motorhead covers during the show, some Poison.
Dude, oh my God. So after, I think it was probably our third or fourth record with Atlantic, there was a lot. I just put a bunch of rock tracks on there, just a bunch of like heavy guitar. And what I forgot was that when we would go out on tour and we were playing all this new music, like most of the people in these venues were just now getting to Could Not Ask for More, or the other, you know what I mean? They were just kind of coming around to the sensitive love songs. And I'd roll out on stage and launch into this rock song with a flying V. And there'd be a whole front row full of girls going, what's happening? Like you just like terror, just
Where's
terror
Edwin?
on their faces.
What
Like
happened to
I
Edwin?
think this is the wrong concert. And and for us musically, and our band is so weird because we had, it was all over the place. just jazz influence. It was like, Zappa, and obviously we all love the hair metal, and more than anything, the virtuosity of that era really is unmatched, right? So you look at a guitar player like Warren DeMartini, or you can go on and on, but that was the thing that I really disliked about grunge, because it was like, well, let's not really tune. Let's not be great with our instruments. Let's intentionally dumb this down. And coming from an era where Eddie Van Halen was God, like that felt like it felt disrespectful to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like all these guys that spent all this time learning how to be incredible musicians, and now we're gonna play out of tune. Like, bro, what are we doing?
Yeah, well, it wasn't cool to try hard, in the grungy '90s. But you bridged those two gaps in a lot of different ways, because you kept the melody and all that stuff straight through the '90s, and but as you said, you can't go too far off track with crowds, because they get nervous and they go, wait, where's the I'll be guy? Where did he go?
They weren't having it. No, they weren't having it. I had to modulate, and I learned to. We kind of went back to being indie, because I didn't really want to spend a year at a time pushing one song, right? Like, I was like, man, this is and it's not going to be fun. We're not going to be rich, but we're going to make a living playing the way we want to make, and I drive the bus, and I bought an old bus, and I wrench on it, and we still have the same band we've had I got one guy that's been with me for 35 years, which is amazing.
Oh, that's amazing.
First of all, yeah. And so we kind of limped it along until COVID, and then it was like, uh-oh, now what are we going to do? And then my daughter got me on TikTok, and what I didn't realize was, to the general public, when you go back to being indie, the general public, you don't exist anymore. Like, you're gone, right? And so when I went back onto TikTok, it was like this whole audience showed up and was like, "Where have you been?" and I got to experience sort of rediscovery. They're like, "Oh my God, where have you been?" I'm like, "I've been out here playing shows this whole time." But just because I have people coming to my shows doesn't mean the general public knows you exist. And that was a revelation. But it kind of, the alchemy of it sort of worked out perfectly, because it coincided with, like, everybody was sitting at home and feeling nostalgic about the '90s.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are, like, ta-da!
The '90s are very back right now. Very back right now.
Big time. And now you've expanded your audience by manyfold by being Nessie on season 13 of The Masked Singer. That had to blow your mind out to do that.
I honestly felt a real sense of grief and loss that I had stopped doing psychedelics, because that experience would have been absolutely unmatched with a face full of mushrooms. Oh my God, I'm not gonna lie. I just honestly, when I first got there, I was like, God dang it, it's sober 18 years. Would it really count? I really started debating. I was like, would it count? It wouldn't count. Like, nobody would fault me for that. Just because that whole thing was like a fever dream. And so, like, Method Man is in the Pipe and Drape right next to me, right? And his costume was the muffin. He was a muffin man.
Yeah.
And so I'm 5 feet from him, and I don't know who it is, but I know he's the muffin man. So we're all in there. Everybody's got to stay separate. And I was in my dressing room, my Pipe and Drape, going, and then he would go, and it was so ridiculous, the stuff that was going on in that thing. And it was 10,000 degrees inside that suit, even with ice packs on. And I was like, this is going to be the greatest way to go. Like the greatest show business death of all time, just to keel over.
If I suffocate in this dinosaur outfit.
I'm here for this. All right. Oh my God.
Well, Edwin, you've had a Jack and Coke with Lemmy, so everything after that is gravy, really. I mean, if you died in the suit, you go, all right, I had Jack and Coke with Lemmy, and I was a dinosaur on TV.
It was so, I mean, dude, and everything. It was funny too because obviously I watched that documentary about him, and it was like that's exactly how he is. Yeah. Like there was never a moment. If any interview you've ever seen of him, he's exactly like that, and that was sort of what the whole the music business that I was a part of in the 90s loved to build these mysteries, and it was all about like this. It was all a facade, right? And it always made me feel gross. I was like, this is gross. And then this whole social media thing it's just all about you being yourself. And I was like, all right, well, I'll totally sign up for this. Like, as long as I can just be exactly how I am, and all right, sure, yes to this. And it's interesting to see all of the really authentic people that sort of tapped out of the business then that are back in it now and finding each other. Like, I'm encouraged by it, frankly. Wow. Like, I don't know if you guys follow Rick Beato, but he's like I used to play gigs with him at like in Buckhead in Atlanta. He was playing bass with a friend of mine's bar band in Atlanta back in the 90s. Like they talk about an absolute waste of talent. And they're playing Mustang Sally. Yeah. Holy God. Yeah. Yeah.
And he's a beast. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Edwin, that's such an interesting take on social media because you seem to have a really healthy relationship with it. Most artists don't. Most artists see it as a necessary evil. But I like the way you're looking at it. Like, no, this is where I can be me. There's no facade of the music business. I'm not. I'm here's the guy outside of the dinosaur outfit and out from behind the guitar.
And it's interesting too because as I recall, I think they offer. I don't want to step on any toes, but I think they offered The Masked Singer to me when it first started, but it also came with you also have to do Dancing with the Stars, and I was like, I can't do that. Like I can't dance. Like I know you say you can teach people, but you can't teach me. Like, that's not gonna happen. And so it was nice of them to come back around, but the whole only reason they came back around was because I think my daughter and I had some video that had 20 million views because she was basically horrified by my existence. Like her teacher played my music video for the entire class, and she had to just sit there and take it. Like, it was brutal. And she was telling me the story. It was just, and it can't help but laugh. Like, so, on one hand, I mean, I embrace it for just the authenticity of it. But what I also like about it is I'm all in the comment sections of other videos, like, because it's fun for me, like, to see how many funny people there are. Like, I'm encouraged by that truth because I would really be worried about the country if I didn't know how many goddamn funny people there are, like poking holes and all this shit. You know what I mean? Like,
but the other illusion though that they took from us with social media is like when we were young, we'd hear like, oh, this 6-year-old girl can play, the drums for Tom Sawyer perfectly, and she'd be on the local news, and everybody would be so excited, and everyone would talk about it at work the next day. And then YouTube comes out, and you find out almost every 6-year-old can play the drums in Tom Sawyer. It's like, are you kidding me? I thought it was that one person. It's everybody.
It is unnerving to see the amount of talent there is. But one of the things that occurred to me, because I see these 20-something-year-olds that are astonishingly good musicians, and I was like, oh my god, we sucked so bad at that age. Like, I mean, thank God we weren't being held to that standard, but we had the opportunity to put in our 10,000 hours when it wasn't being filmed. Like, I put my 10,000 hours in at these crappy little bars in Hilton Head, and there's no record of it. Like, and thankfully, it's interesting. Hopefully these kids will go out on the street and busk, because it's easy to sit in your bedroom and make it sound perfect and do take after take and do all that thing. But you got to get out there. And I mean, and this as a comedian, you kind of got to get out there and bomb a little bit. You guys just learn how to take it. Like, I mean, even now, I mean, it's not like you're ever immune to it. Like, I have bad nights where I've literally had somebody on the front. I finished the song and somebody on the front row goes, "Yeah, what else you got?"
Yeah, you're only as good as your last song. You're only as good as your last joke.
But
absolutely.
I am, and I'm sure you know this, but I'm infatuated with stand-up. I think it is one of the purest forms of art, because you're truly just out there by yourself, like trying to do the impossible. I mean, I joke around with my crowds, but it's easy because they'll laugh at almost anything I say, and so
they do.
You can lull yourself into thinking I could do stand up, because it wouldn't be the same. And I'm gonna try it one day. And I'm going to make sure I film it, because I expect a nuclear failure the first time, but it'll be baby steps, I guess.
Well, hey, listen, if you ever want help with that, let me know. My writing partner and I have been doing these shows where we've turned rock stars into comedians. We've been doing it probably done it with about 40 people now. And it's a lot of fun. So
sign me up. I'll do it.
Edwin McCain has the secret heavy metal side and the secret comedy side,
right?
And he will be bringing his incredible music along with Five for Fighting. Epic Event Center, Green Bay, Wisconsin, June 19th. Get tickets now at epicgreenbay.com, or you can go to the very cool edwin.com.
Boy, we got in early on that one, didn't we?
Yeah, you did. Edwin.com. I mean, it's the one name website. That's all you need. And the last thing before we let you go, this is incredible, because I went on Edwin.com because I wanted to be cool. And you will, if someone emails you through the site, you will compose a personal song for him, which I think is incredible. How has that been for you?
Well, my songwriting partner Maya and I used to do a lot more before Suno hit, and now it's just so easy for people to use AI to do it. And I don't blame them, because I'm not doing it cheap. Suno's doing it way cheaper than I will. So, and I think I did have some really good interactions too with people, and you get a real sense of where they're coming from. And actually, one of the songs that for me has done really great was a songwriting request from a friend of mine that wanted me to write a song for his daughter. She was getting married, and I wrote the song "Walk with You" for him as a request. So yeah, you never know. Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's terrific. Well, again, he's a songwriter, and this is a great tour coming to the Green Bay area. So get your spotted cow and your cheese curds and get on down there on June 19th to see Edwin McCain and Five for Fighting. Thanks so much for your time, Ryan. You got anything else?
No, I just want to thank you both for joining us and doing this today. We're super stoked for the show, man. Can't wait to bring you back to Wisconsin. And these are some of these stories, dude, they're so fantastic. And I think people are gonna love hearing, like you said, the wedding songwriter is such a metal guy. I think it's just outstanding. So it's so great to get to know people like on levels that you didn't know additionally or traditionally. So yeah, just thank you so much. Can't wait to have you in the house. And yeah, June 19th, Edwin McCain, Five for Fighting. Let's go.
See you then.
inside.